this is Sam from the CamelCast podcast, bringing you another episode of the podcast with the co-host Jaden. Say hello, Jaden.
Hi, everybody. Unfortunately, Sam was away in Russia, so we weren't able to record for a while, but a regular upload schedule will be coming back this week, and we will be starting the quick talks this week as well.
Yeah, that is right. So we have a lot of news since the last time we recorded the podcast. So first, we'll start off with the very sad news of two shootings in the time period of less than 24 hours, one being a white supremacist terror attack in El Paso and the other being a mass shooting in Dayton. It is a terrible tragedy, and we'll let Jaden talk about this one. So Jaden, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, obviously it's a terrible thing, you know? We're having shootings left and right now, and it's like, we're not doing anything about it. We're calling video games to be at fault. How do you even know that these people liked video games? Like, how are video games have anything to do with a mass shooting? Like, people say that video games cause violence. There's studies that have shown that that's not true. But say that is true. It still takes a mentally ill person to do that. So now that brings you to the mentally illness thing, where people are saying, well, it's got nothing to do with guns, it's just mental illness. You're right. Well, guess what? How do we not, if they're mentally ill, how should they be allowed to get guns? Now, what we should be doing is in order to address this whole problem, everyone's saying, well, it's mental illness. Well, mental illness, whatever, how are we going to stop these shootings if these mentally ill people could still get guns? Like, people that have hatred towards a certain race of people, like the El Paso shooter did, or anybody like that, or somebody who's mentally ill should not be allowed to get a gun. It doesn't make sense. Or somebody with a criminal record.
Yeah, I mean, and when people say, the media says that video games cause violence, first of all, that is simply untrue because guns have not been added yet into Minecraft. So that's simply not true. Yeah, it's proven by facts. And second of all, it's like Trump, he's not willing to do anything about it because first he pretended he was for universal background checks, but then he had a meeting with the NRA and yeet, skeetity skeet goes that idea, so now he's against background checks. It's all really confusing because we don't know where he actually stands on this issue. So we tend to believe that he supports the NRA because they give him money, which he probably does.
I think what I think is he supports universal background checks. That's the message I've picked up. Because you have a shooting, he goes, universal background checks, we need them. Whatever. Then, he put out that tweet that said, the NRA will be strongly considered. Well, first of all, the NRA obviously is going to support anything against universal background checks so that they get some money. Like, because they need more money. Keeping rifles gives them more money.
Yeah.
So, obviously, they're going to support that. So why are we considering a group that benefits from there being no background checks and making background checks?
Yeah,
that's... So then Go ahead.
Yeah, that's true because, Wayne LePere from the NRA, he has the meeting with Trump. This is, of course, so he can bribe them so they can keep universal background checks from passing so the NRA can make more money off of these guns. It's all about money and lobbying for the government. It's not actually about having a nice and decent moral argument.
Polls have shown that 84% of people want universal background checks, and I think Trump is one of those people. But I think he cares more about the money than anything else. And he's benefiting off the NRA because the NRA is saying, well, we can't let you pass universal background checks because if you do, we lose money, so we're going to give you money. So it's very interesting because, and then he goes, a couple of days later, he's like, well, we already have good background checks, which is so weird because he repealed the stuff that Obama did to make it harder for mentally ill people to get guns.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, it's not that he's the only person doing this because there are tons of corrupt politicians, or I should say corrupted politicians, because I don't think... corrupted politicians, because I don't think all of them are necessarily bad people. But, NRA gives them money. They first want to pass this gun legislation, but then the NRA gives them money, so they're not going to do it. And I think it's shown perfectly in the legislation game online. It's made by The Daily Show. I don't know if it's still up there on the internet.
Oh, yeah, I played it.
Yeah. Well, it actually shows it kind of accurately.
It really does. And I quote the NPR news show on this. I think Mitch McConnell, which is like one of the politicians that's very just kind of does where Trump goes, and so they were saying that if Trump takes the initiative to pass gun laws, then they think Mitch McConnell will follow in his footsteps.
Well, yeah, of course, because Mitch McConnell, as the leader of the Senate, quite frankly, it's kind of dangerous to, fundamental, freedom of ideas and, democracy in the American legislative branch of Congress. Because, to get stuff passed, to have a fair vote, you need, to let it in. Mitch McConnell isn't doing that. He's just blocking everything that might not even pass because the Senate has a Republican majority. But just to be safe, Mitch McConnell just blocks everything. And,
Yeah. He blocks election safety and everything. And this election safety, why he's blocking it, I think is mostly because, if the Russians were hacking our election, and if all that did happen, then, which there's a lot of proof that it did, then it's benefiting the Republicans. So why would Mitch McConnell repeal that? Why would Mitch McConnell make it so that our elections are safer? Because if that happens, now it's harder for the Republicans to get elected. It's the same thing with making it popular vote. Electoral vote benefits Republicans. Popular vote benefits Democrats.
well, yeah, of course, because the Electoral College it's unfairly gives advantages to small states. In small states, which happen to be more rural states, they almost always vote Republican, so the system has always been in favor towards them.
Right. But if we change it to popular vote, then now Republicans in 2 presidential terms are going to be saying, well, this is unfair. Our new way of electing a president benefits Democrats too much because the most populous states usually vote Democrat.
Yeah, because I think if the Democrats choose a strong, populist leader as a candidate, I'd say, Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders, I think they could, it doesn't even matter if they have the Electoral College or not, because they can so easily beat Trump, who used to be the populist candidate against Hillary, but is now coming off of the establishment candidate, is basically against almost all the policies that got him elected in 2016.
Yep. Let's quickly touch on Trump always kind of bragging about his crowd sizes. He was saying he had the biggest inauguration crowd ever. Not true, obviously.
No. Obama had a big... You know what the biggest inauguration crowd? Kim Jong-un, my homie. He had the biggest. His was the biggest crowd ever.
I guess it is true.
Yeah, technically true.
But, so Trump's, it wasn't that big, but whatever. He was at the hospital where the Dayton shooting, where a lot of people from the Dayton shooting were what's the word? Recovering.
Yeah, recovering.
And he was just saying how big his crowd size was when he should have been when he should have been talking to the people that were there and telling them how he was going to make this not happen again.
Yeah, I know. It's like Trump doesn't care. He wants to mistake Dayton for Toledo. It's Ohio, so I probably would have done that too. But still, he's a president. He should know his own country. And yeah, it's not like he showed that much effect for El Paso. He just didn't really seem to care that much. Anyway, let's move on to the next topic. 4 candidates dropping out of the Democratic primary. Those happen to be maybe Tim Ryan, Mike Gravel, who else? Jay Inslee.
What do you mean, maybe Tim Ryan?
Oh, yeah, because Tim Ryan, again, he says he suspended his campaign. So no one knows if he's out, but chances are he's out. But still, no one cared for him anyway, so I don't know why it matters. But yeah, Tim Ryan.
So then Mike Gravel as well. Mike Gravel, if you don't know who he was, his goals were not on becoming president, but just on getting his voice heard. He qualified for the second debates, but since they could only choose 20 candidates, they decided to leave him out because he obviously didn't have the goal of becoming president.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of sad because, I mean, the DNC already hated him because, he was a strong leftist type of character like Bernie, so they probably already hated him. And who else dropped out? John Hickenlooper, I don't think anyone cares for him. Jay Inslee dropped out, and I know a lot of people actually like Jay Inslee, including Jaden himself, the OG. Explain why you like Jay Inslee.
I liked him. I had never heard of him until the second Democratic debate. I thought he did really good in that debate, and I actually grew to really like him, but unfortunately he has dropped out of the race.
Yeah, he really put climate change front and center. I think that's really important, in today's world, because, now we're going through a climate crisis, the Amazon rainforest burning, and the ice is melting, and it's a disaster, so we need to put climate change front and center.
Yeah. So next, let's move on to our next topic. Elon Omar and
Rashida Tlaib
were both banned from Israel. I'll let Sam talk about that one.
Yeah, so Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, he got this thing suggested from a Trump tweet, like all things are. And Trump, said that Ilhan Omar, they shouldn't let them in because they're dangerous. They hate Israel. They hate all Jews, which is simply impossible because they endorse Bernie Sanders, who's Jewish. So basically, Rashid Tlaib wanted to get in to see her grandmother, who lives in Palestine, in the West Bank. And the government of Israel, who's supposed to be the only democracy in the Middle East, said, no, you can't come in, which is crazy because they're supposed to be the only democracy in the Middle East. They're not letting American Congress people in. It's not like they have a problem with America. They don't, because we give them $3 billion in foreign aid every year. They have universal health care. We don't. It's like Trump isn't even putting America first. He's putting Israel and Saudi Arabia first. It's really sad, and I think this needs to stop.
Yep. I also wanted to quickly touch on something before we go into our next topic. Trump basically said that if you vote Democrat, you're going against Israel and you're not being a loyal Jew, which is so terrible.
Yeah, okay, so
That's
basically,
a sad thing to say.
I'm 38% ethnically Jewish from my father's side, and I'm going to play that card here. So, yeah, no, I'm not I'm atheist, so technically I don't even belong to that religion. But yeah, you can't take away my DNA. It's in there. It's in there. Sorry, dude. Sorry, Dad. No, bro, sorry.
I mean, and it's so sad. And then what he basically did was to cover that up, he named Jay Powell a public enemy. And in the same tweet, he said, who's public enemy, Jay Powell or President Xi of China?
Well, I don't actually think either of those are public enemy number one, because Jay Powell, I don't understand how he's done something so bad to be the number one enemy of the American people. And Xi Jinping, well, yeah, he's done some pretty messed up in China, but this is America, so I don't really know why the American people should care so much. I can understand how the White House would care about a foreign government doing that stuff, but I don't understand how some farmers in the Midwest or, mothers in Iowa, American rural voters who, decide the fate of every election in a Rust Belt, they're losing their jobs when their jobs are being shipped up to these countries. So I don't know why Trump is going around, making a big deal about China and all these countries. When doing that, he's going to lose the very states that got him elected in 2016, which is a very bad strategy for Trump.
He also ordered all companies to move elsewhere from China. I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, can't just order a company to leave China.
Oh, wait. This wasn't an original plan, but I just wanted to talk about this. Trump thought buying Greenland was a serious idea.
Right. Oh my god.
Yo.
And then it was so interesting because then, so the Denmark's prime minister is like, you're, like, she literally basically said, "You're kidding me. Are you that dumb?
Yo, Trump.
Greenland's not for sale." And then Trump's like, "I appreciate how he wrote in a tweet. I appreciate how direct she was, but until further notice, I will be postponing our meeting." Then, a couple days, like next day, he's like, her comments were nasty and inappropriate, and he called them terrible, and he got all mad at her, whatever. And yeah.
Yeah, I know. And it's pretty funny because, Trump, I hate the guy in his politics, but he's pretty funny. He's hilarious because,
Yeah.
he has this weird sense of humor mixed with him being, stupid. So it comes out this, comical genius. And next story, we have Anthony Scaramucci, also known as the Mooch, getting into this drama fight with Donald Trump, and he's treated as a hero for mainstream media, which I don't understand, because he still agrees with Trump. He just doesn't like the guy in person. So, yeah.
Before we go to that, I've said this millions of times. If we were to just throw a bunch of cameras in the TV, in the White House, and in a couple of years, whoever becomes the next president after Trump, even if he serves his re-election, and we just put a bunch of cameras in there, we could air that as a TV show. We get so much money.
Yeah.
We'd be rich.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. So,
All right. So, Anthony Scaramucci.
Yeah. So basically, Anthony Scaramucci played the anti-Trump Republican card, and he had so much news coverage on NBC and CNN. It was just cringy because NBC and CNN, they hate Donald Trump. So on policy, they should hate Anthony Scaramucci, but they just like him because he's against Trump as a person. And Anthony Scaramucci is so delusional. He thinks that very soon, in a few months, the Republican Party will turn against Trump, which is complete and utter BS. They won't. They won't.
Yeah, they're not going to. And it's for a lot of reasons. And I think one is because they like Trump. Two is maybe because turning against Trump means probably running an election race, a Republican primary race against him. And what that means is whoever wins is not going to have enough support. I doubt that they'll have any chance of beating any Democrat.
Yeah, I know. Also, speaking of, mass media, this is another bonus story we weren't planning on talking about, but Chris Cuomo from CNN got triggered when someone called him Fredo, which is, he described him that because he was, an Italian, and Fredo was this, character from The Godfather. I'm not going to leave any spoilers, but yeah, he got super offended. He just legit got mad at him. He was like, "Yo, you call me Fredo? How about I call you punk, huh?" And then he almost beat him up, and it was hilarious because everybody saw it. Some people defended him, some people didn't, but yeah, that happened.
That's funny. Just kind of another side story that's kind of funny. The Daily Show was doing another episode on Fox. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but Fox, just like every other news site, says some controversial things. But when, say, any of their news hosts say something controversial, then at the end of that episode, out of nowhere, they're taking a vacation. So the Daily Show thinks that it's probably that they got suspended for whatever they said, and now they're taking a vacation.
Yeah, The Daily Show, I actually really like The Daily Show because they don't have this tendency to, spit out BS and corporate nonsense like, CNN and NBC. it's really what Trevor Noah thinks, and the people behind the camera think, and it's really true and sincere because they interview a lot of Democratic candidates. They interviewed everybody from Bernie Sanders, a progressive hero, to Michael Bennett, a more centrist caricature. But still, I think Trevor Noah is a guy who truly believes in what he believes in. He doesn't have a tendency to spit out corporate nonsense.
And then it's a mix of it's funny and politics mixed, but we're not supposed to be turning this into an ad, so let's move on.
This podcast, this episode is not sponsored by The Daily Show. It's not.
Yes, we swear. We only have 12 subscribers, so we have no chance of getting sponsored by The Daily Show.
Yeah. So, but maybe if we're optimistic, maybe by the time I release this video, it'll be like 13 subs or something. Anyway, we're almost done, so, thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching. Hope you like and subscribe to the channel, and also leave a comment if you agree or disagree with anything we said. Also, the day after this video is uploaded, we should have a Quick Talks, our first ever Quick Talks uploaded. So thank you for watching. Goodbye.